All right, we're joined by our next guest, the governor of the great state of North Dakota. Jack Dalrymple is back with us on the Common Sense Club. How are you, Governor?
Hey, Scott. Good to talk to you.
Appreciate you joining us. Our first chance to catch up since you were in Indianapolis on Thursday, and so I wanted to visit with you a little bit about Friday, I guess, right? I'm losing track of my days. Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Bring us inside the room. What you mentioned in one of the quotes in one of the stories I'd seen that you sort of went to the mat for an hour and then kindly saw the writing on the wall, but tell us a little bit about the argument, at least, and what you'd hoped would be a different outcome.
Well, it was a good meeting. We were with the president of the NCAA and a couple of other top officials. Representative Carlson and Senator Hogue were there, and they were given the first opportunity to, present the legislature's perspective on the retirement of the nickname. They did a great job. They explained in detail that the state feels that we've always shown respect for the Sioux Indians and certainly don't feel that the sanctions were justified. But in the end, the NCAA officials explained their point of view and informed us that they definitely are standing on their original decision and are not interested in renegotiating the settlement agreement. So at that, from then on, I guess, we talked about some concessions that they might make, to us on some of the secondary matters. And I think that there was some good done there. They're basically, going to proactively speak to the Big Sky Conference and ask them to stand by until things develop further in North Dakota. And they're also saying that they will be flexible and negotiate with us on the transition of the Ralph Engelstad Arena. So in the end, that was the bottom line, and I think that Representative Carlson, who was with me, after making some great points, finally said that he's not interested in doing anything that would harm the University of North Dakota.
You mentioned you appealed for the better part of the hour, asked the question in a number of ways. What was the rationale you're getting back? I mean, I'm sort of amazed that here's a governor of a state, a majority leader of a state, where a law has been passed based on public opinion, and the visual I get, not having been in the room, is these NCAA officials who, quite honestly, in the pecking order of my mind, are considerably down the food chain there, going, nope. We're not persuaded. Sorry. I mean, that's a bit arrogant on their part, isn't it?
Well, it's hard for me to, really articulate their position. Of course, they do feel, first of all, that, they have made a settlement with the state of North Dakota. And, they consider that done and finished and something that they're not interested in reopening. Beyond that, it's clear that they are a private association made up of members. The members are colleges, and there's no requirement technically that a college belong to this association, and they do make the rules for their own association. And, say what you will about the monopolistic power that they have or whatever, but, they do have the right to govern their own association.
Were you, in the end, disappointed that you weren't, despite asking the question a number of different ways, able to have a successful appeal and persuade them?
Well, I mean, I think the whole thing is really too bad because most people in North Dakota who haven't been familiar with all of the sort of subtle details of this whole thing look at it from a little bit of a distance and say, really, this seems totally unnecessary. It doesn't seem like, this is anything that should be impossible to resolve. But the fact of the matter is, we are under an agreement, and they were not willing to change their point of view.
What would you say is and by the way, I've also I gotten the sense from some of the reporting so far that you do, in the end, believe that it would be beyond just what we thought were the toughest sanctions out of this deal, which is you can't do postseason and you can't wear a jersey in NCAA play, to where it would be the NCAA actively asking their member schools not to schedule UND, and also preventing participation in the Big Sky Conference. That's your belief that that's ultimately what would have happened if this standoff continued?
Yeah, I believe that, now knowing, what the Big Sky Conference has publicly said about this. Last winter, I think there was hope that maybe if we can't host postseason play and wear the logos on the hockey jerseys, that that would be acceptable. It would be an unfortunate penalty, but people could live with that if it wasn't anything more than that. But it's clear now that some of the member colleges that we would like to be scheduling with UND for events, and most important of all, the Big Sky Conference have publicly said that this is not going to work for them, and that is a game changer.
And how about in the way of concessions? What were you happiest with in the way of, some of it seemed like kind of a small ball where they're saying, well, we'll tell people to just, keep their powder dry, and you guys are ultimately planning on changing this. But, I mean, obviously there were a number of things that Grant Schaff told us were part of the discussion as far as asking in the way of concessions. Anything you think is the best example of a give on part of the NCAA?
Well, I think it is significant that they, would ask their members to not, overreact, at least in the next couple of months. But the matter of the Engelstad Arena, too, is important to people, particularly, up in Grand Forks County. That's a wonderful arena that was given to the university for its use. And I think that, how that transition is handled up there is important to a lot of people. And
I mean, technically, today is the end of the deadline. Rather, I mean, are they going to give some? For instance, I assume that they are going to give some time to the special session and the law to be put in place, and not doing anything as of now.
Well, yeah, we found out that really, we're under the policy. Before and after, it doesn't, really have that much significance today, unless they would proactively go out and try to encourage members to not work with us, which they say they are not going to do. The
final question for you.
The policy was in place, in April, for that matter, and really, it doesn't change as of today or anything.
Less than a minute left, but I did want to ask you about this. I have heard some discussions that Native American members are not done, that support the name and ultimately plan to, whether it's legal action or some additional efforts to try and retain the name. Do you believe this is the end, or do you anticipate there will be more action, whether it's Native American members or namesake tribes yet in the state going forward?
I don't know what anybody or any group out there, might be trying to do. But talking with people across the state, I think that, most people are saying, one way or the other, we do need to put this behind us.
All right, Governor, thanks for the update. Someone that was there firsthand at the meeting, best to give us an update on the dialogue and the conversation with the NCAA, and we appreciate the time today. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, you bet, Scott. Talk to you soon.
Good to talk to you. Al Carlson, by the way, and Grant Schaff tomorrow will join us on the same topic. We'll continue to follow this on the Scott Anderson Show and the Common Sense Club. Vin Weber on his buddy Tim Polenni's departure from the presidential sweepstakes when we come back. Also, the folks from National Review Online for an Iowa weekend recap. Coming up on the Common Sense Club.